What's up YouTube? This is That Really Gross Guy, and today I'm going to bring you a video on what you should do basically after you've kind of maxed out your initial weapons. This is for beginners. Basically you've maxed out the Skana, the Bratton, whether it be the MK1 or the regular Bratton, and the Leto. Basically where to go from there. Basically what I'm going to show you is kind of the quick and easy weapons that you can pick up. It takes a little bit of time. I mean, you want to at least be past the Jackal and fighting onto Mars to get most of the components for these weapons. However, they're not necessarily necessary depending on the weapons you pick, but I'm choosing a couple that are a little bit more advanced than just upgrading from the NK1 Bratton up to, say, the Bratton. I'm actually going to upgrade to the Burston, the Magnus for my secondary, and the bow, the staff, the bow, as my melee. But basically, what I'm showing you here now is the damage that the Bratton has been doing. It took quite a bit of shots to bring down Captain Vor's health. I'm using Captain Vor as the I guess enemy to show examples of how much damage is being done. But the Bratton, as you could see, took about 2 clips to bring down his shields and his health low enough to do his first shielded ability, which leaves him invulnerable until he puts it back up and his health regenerates. But you're also seeing the Leto being fired with horrible quality. But as you can see here, to finish it off, I went after the guy with my melee to show off well, not necessarily show off the Skana, but showing you the damage that it quite literally does and how low it is. So basically, those were all the basic of the basic. All those weapons did not have any upgrades or whatnot to them, and the same thing's going to go for these upgraded or these newer weapons that I'm going to throw on. As you can see, I pulled out from the foundry. I have the Burston, the Magnus, and the bow, like I said, and I'm going to be putting those on, and you will see the differences in the damage. And I will list those actually separately if you wish to pause the video at each one and see what the damage changes are. You can, but I'll have those listed for you right here. Actually, the MK1 Bratton, if you were to go from the Bratton up to the Burston, firing rate is not very important because you went from a automatic to a burst. So that doesn't really matter too much. It's a difference between literally about 20 seconds, or 20 rounds per second, but that doesn't mean anything because the burst fire is kind of an automatic shot. Same with, But magazine size, unfortunately, it drops with from the Bratton to the Burston. However, your shots will be more accurate, well placed. Hopefully, if you have better aim. There are also alternatives to the Burston, but this is just the one I'm deciding to use. The reload time is the same. However, the impact damage has gone up from 2 to 10. The puncture damage has gone up from 4 to 10, and the slash damage has actually dropped 9. These are all from Wikia, the Warframe Wikia page. The status, the chance of the status, say elemental damage, goes from 1% to 10%. The critical chance is the same, and so is the critical damage. But as you can see, it's a well-rounded weapon with the impact, puncture, and slash being all around the number 10. It costs 15,000 for the blueprint, 25 for the actual foundry, and one morphic, 150 alloy plates, 600 nanospores, and 400 polymer bundles. You'll see that being used right here. Fighting him off, basically you'll see how much damage it's basically been doing using the same enemy, just for the comparison. From the Loadout to the Magnus, you saw how terrible the Loadout was doing. The Magnus, its firing rate unfortunately is lower, from 6.7 rounds a second to 5.8 rounds a second. However, it's not too important, because basically it's more of a Magnum style pistol, so you're going to be doing more damage, and your shots are probably going to be slower to guarantee a hit. The mag size has dropped from 15 to 8. Unfortunately, 7 less rounds. Of course, there's upgrades and stuff you can do to that. Reload time is a little bit higher at 2 seconds, which is relatively long compared to some of the pretty much the pistols. However, once you go akimbo, of course, it's going to double up. Reloads, yeah, that's the reload. Impact damage, however, has gone from 1 to 20, which is huge. Puncture damage has gone from 3 to 12, which is large as well, and slash has gone from 7 to 12. Those are quite big jumps. Not to mention the status of elemental has gone from 1% to 20%. So you have a good chance, if you have any of those mods on, to be doing those damage. Critical chance has gone from 2.5 up to 20, which is immense once again. And the critical damage has gone from 150% to 200%. Alright, and the Magnus is 20,000 for the blueprint, 25,000 for the build. It's going to require 2 Oracle cells. Hopefully you guys have been able to manage those by defeating the bosses. 400 alloy plates, 900 salvage, and 100 parite, which is not too bad for high-end secondary. And now we'll be moving on from the Skana up to the bow. The damage is very similar. Basically, these two weapons are relatively similar, other than the fact that the bow actually hits up to 3 targets at once. The Skana actually only hits 1. So your impact has gone up from 3 to 17, and your puncture stays the same at 3, and your slash goes down from 17 to 3, which is basically the flip side of impact. But ultimately, you know, it's similar damage-wise. Just one is impact, one is slash. Your critical chance has gone up from 5 to 7.5, but pretty much everything else stays the same. The critical damage is 150%. The attack rate is the same at 1 per second. Status is the same at 10. The radius of the slam attack is the same, as well as the damage at 25. The slide is the same at 75. However, its critical chance is a little bit higher than the Skana's at 7.5 rather than 5. But like I said, you're hitting 3 targets. I think it's definitely a better exchange when you get surrounded by enemies and you're kind of in that tough spot, which we'll see at the end of the match. However, at the end of the match, I'll be taken down by the enemies, of course, but that's with 0 upgrades on any of these weapons that you've been seeing. Imagine being able to boost these by your upgrades. The bow, blueprint is only 15,000. Its build cost is only 15,000. Requires 1 Oracle cell, not bad. 900 salvage, 600 ferrite, and 150 alloy plates. Very basic. Like I said, all of these, other than the high amount of credits, which you guys can get from alert missions, as well as the special events that go on, are pretty easy to get. The only thing I would say is the 1 Morphic and the Burstin, and the 3 Oracle cells between the Magnus and the bow. But I have, like, I'm on Mars. I just beat the third boss, and I have, I think, like 14. So it should not be too big of a deal. But that's about it for you beginners. Hopefully this helped. And like, subscribe, and stay tuned for some more videos. That's it. Take it easy, YouTube.